This next discipline is my favorite. It brings me a lot of joy. And now we're going to spend a little bit of time discovering what brings you a lot of joy. It's time to feed the dog. In Central America, this trick is called pelotitas rojas. Red balls. If I put one in this hand, one in this hand, where are they? Oh, one in each hand, that's exactly right. So if I take one in this hand and one in this hand, now where are they? Still both in each hand. Well, not really, because one jumps over here to this hand, which is which is kind of weird, right? So if I take one and put it here and one and put it here, and you snap, Stephanie, could you snap? When you snap, the one that's here jumps to here, and the one that was here jumps over there. They've switched places, which is kind of cool, huh?
Yeah.
So here, we'll try it again. Let's go and snap again. Back, just like that. You like that? Is that good? Let's do it again, but this time let's have it where it goes from, well, which hand would you like to choose? Which?
The far.
This one. No, it's not that one. No, it's that confused look on it. I just love that look, by the way.
Is it that hand?
It's not in this hand. It's not in this hand. It's actually, I put them in my pocket just to mess with you, but come on over here. Now we're going to get serious, all right? So would you hold out the hands like this? Great. Yeah. Let's try this. Just like this. Perfect. I'm going to take one ball and put it, are you right-handed or left-handed?
Right-handed.
All right, hold out your right hand. I'm going to have you squeeze. Go ahead and squeeze the ball. Hold it like this so that you don't drop it, all right? You can put those hands down, but watch this carefully. I'm going to try to put, let's try this. Try to put your ball in here with my ball without opening your hand. Seems impossible, doesn't it? Keep squeezing. I'm going to try to put my ball in there with your ball without opening my hand. This seems like it's impossible, but anything's possible if you believe, right? So let's try it. Nope. Blow. Turn your hand over.
That's awesome.
I love going to prison. I love going into prison. I don't want to stay there, but I love going into the prison. We go into prisons in different places to share the gospel. We do our show and then share the gospel of truth and hope, and we just see it invade people's lives. It's a beautiful thing. Some of the places we go to, for example, in Central America, are some of the darkest, filthiest places in the world. We go into prisons that feel more like dungeons. They are in these cages with concrete walls, with no running water and no power and no lights, and the only light is a hole cut in the ceiling. It's filthy. The stench is just, it'll knock you over. It's an absolutely, it's just an incredibly difficult place to walk into, but I love going there. Here's why. When we go into these prisons and see that they have no beds, no food, unless someone brings it to them and gives it to a guard to hand it to them, but when they have no pillows, no blankets, when they have nothing, we go in there. We begin to love on these men and women, and some of them are children, teenagers. We go and we love on them and then share the gospel of truth. And the change that happens is the most incredible thing I've ever seen in my life. I see people who are miserable, who are just really angry, hear that there's a God who loves them, and I see them start to get excited, start to get really curious. And then this fantastic smile comes on their face. And so many times I leave these prisons as I'm looking over my shoulder to see those prisoners. They're reading the scripture of the Bibles that we leave with them, and they're laughing and they're smiling, and they're so excited that they get to hear about a God who loves them. That for me is what excites me. That is ministry. It's pure ministry. Those prisoners don't pay me to come in there. No one's paying me to go in. But I love doing that. There's a pure ministry that happens. I really, really love that. When Jesus, in Matthew 28, gives us the Great Commission. He gives us this challenge. He gives us this command to go and make disciples. I have found that I really want to take that seriously and go and make disciples. I want to go into all the world and make disciples, and I want to teach people about Jesus. I love doing that. I love it when he says in Acts 1:8, he tells the disciples that you will be my witnesses. I love that. I want to be a witness for Jesus. I love that when he tells them, he says that you are going to go to the ends of the earth. I want to be the one that goes to the ends of the earth, to go to places that are hard to get to go to places that are expensive or time-consuming to get there, because I know that what's waiting for us there is two things. One, people that need to hear Jesus, and two, it's part of God's plan to build the kingdom. I love that. And I want people to also experience that same kind of joy that comes through ministry. And what it takes is, it takes us using our spiritual gifts to do ministry. See, each of us have spiritual gifts, and they're used to build up the kingdom, to edify the church. For us to do ministry, we have to be operating in our gifts. So here's what I want people to do. I want them to do things until they discover, hey, wait a minute. When I do this, I come alive. When I do that, God seems to really use me. Then you can begin to realize what your spiritual gift is. You start noticing that. And when you put those into practice, it's real ministry. God has called every Christian to full-time Christian ministry. You may not get paid to do it, but all of us as a Christian, you're called to do ministry, which means you're loving on people and pointing them to Jesus. Ministry can be defined probably in two little short sentences. It's pretty simple. Ministry for me is show love, speak truth. Show love. Sometimes it means you're praying for someone because you love them. That's ministry. Sometimes it's going and speaking to them because you love them. That's ministry. But if we're showing love and we're speaking truth in every way that we can, we're allowing God to use us to build His kingdom. We need to advance the gospel, build the kingdom. Every person has a part in that. We all have a piece of making this happen. Ministry is not just for pastors. It's not for clergy. Ministry is for all of us. We all need to be an active part in doing ministry, or we're out of the will of God. Your pastor is not called to share the gospel in your school. Well, he might get thrown out if he tried. Your pastor is not the one that's going to sit on the bus and share Jesus in the back of the bus. He's not the one that's going to be in the locker room. That would get weird. That's not his job. Your job is to sit on the bus or to be in the locker room or to be out with the people on the team, like you doing ministry in those places. That's your job. Wherever you are in your life, that's your ministry. That's your ministry field. Your mission field is that little part of the world. That's where God's called you to be. And we need to do that right there. We have to start a cycle. We need to start a cycle, and it's this. We need to be poured into, and then we need to pour into someone. We need to be discipled, and then we need to be discipling others. See, we're not out there doing it by ourselves. Discipleship is multiplication, where somebody's pouring into us, and then we go and pour into someone else who will pour into someone else. That's what this thing is all about. That's the Great Commission. What I love about ministry is seeing lives changed. The joy that I get, I love it. And I want other people to experience the same joy. It's time to feed the dog. Ministry feeds your spirit. Ministry feeds the dog.